everyone, welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 7, DJI Mini 5 Pro Rumors. Hope everyone is doing well. You guys jumped in that chat already tonight. Let's see who all we got here. Captain Joe America, Drone Shots, Jody, Akarasha, Waypoint New England, Johnny Oki, Old Part with an Osmo Pocket 3 and drones from the UK. Welcome. Wow, that's great. Good to see you tonight. Art's here. Welcome, Art. Good to see you. FTFO Media. Steve Janess. Welcome, Steve. Let's see who else we got. Coast Bill is here. Good. Welcome, Bill. Good to see you. Coast to Coast Drone Views Media. Let's see who else we got. Mark White. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you. KC Crime Fighter. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Scott Nadeau. Welcome, Scott. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Richard is here. Welcome, Richard. Let's see who else. My gosh, you guys. Where's Bill? Bill's here. Let's see. Wow. Michael Wright. Welcome, Michael. Jack Temple. Fly Guy Merrill. Wow, you guys really packing the house here tonight. Sounds good. It's a quick reminder. Next week we have very special guest co-host. Mr. Ron Brown will be on his way down to the sunny state of Florida for a month. So we will be having. It doesn't get any better than Johnny Joneflyer and Captain Ray Kelly. They will be joining me next week for our show on February the 25th. Bookmark it, write it down, circle it on your calendar, set yourself a reminder. You're not going to want to miss this show. It is going to be fantastic. Whenever you have Johnny and Ray on, muy bueno. We're going to do really, really, really good. We're going to have a great time next week. And safe travels for Ron and Susan on their way down to Florida. And it's going to be a vacation for them. They're going to be in Florida for a whole month before the drone meetup. So, and I think they're gonna be pretty close to Jensen Beach. I'm not sure exactly where, but place I stayed at before, and they really liked it. And they're wishing them safe travels. Ron's going to join me here in a little bit, of course. Dr. Ted, welcome, Dr. Ted. Got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about the Potensic Atom too. That's causing some news. So we're gonna discuss that. DJI's had released a gimbal. They got another one coming up, and got just all kind of stuff regarding that. So, and we're here. Oh my gosh, it's now February 18th. Okay, 10 days left to this month, and March is here, and then another month, and then we're at the South Florida Drone Meetup, and it's just like, Valerie's like, is it drone meetup time yet? Can we go? I'm like, wow, yeah. I can't tell you how much she really had a great time last year. So we're really looking forward to this year. Looking forward to seeing all of you, meeting all of you, spending some time talking to you. And I've said this before, I go to the South Florida Drone Meetup, not to fly, but to meet and talk to everybody, okay? I bring a drone with me just for grins and giggles, but the main purpose, of course, is to get there and to talk to people and enjoy that. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hope a lot of you guys can get there. We'll get a in-depth update from Captain Ray next week on how things are progressing for that. I know he touched on it a little bit last night. I peeked in on Drone Nation last night. Of course, guys, I get up at 0 dark 30 for work every day. It's insane time I got to get up. So anyway, all that being said, all right. Josh, welcome, Josh. Good to see you. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Believe it or not, DJI released something today, and there was no release party. All right. Yeah. And we'll just kind of leave it at that here. DJI's most affordable gimbal ever. Okay. Smart, light, cheaper than ever. DJI's new gimbal is a steal. The Osmo Mobile 7. It's the two models, the Osmo Mobile 7P and the Osmo Mobile 7. With the Mobile 7P, the premium model, introduces an exciting multifunctional module that adds gesture controls, built-in light control, and a microphone receiver for even more hands-free shooting possibilities. The Osmo Mobile 7 starts at just $89, making it the most affordable DJI gimbal ever, $50 cheaper than the Osmo Mobile 6, which retails at $139. Let's break down what's the OM7 series game changer. System is also is ActiveTrack 7.0, the company's most advanced subject tracking technology yet. Using updated AI algorithms, this feature allows the gimbal to lock onto subjects with pinpoint accuracy, even in busy or fast-moving environments. The system is so intelligent it can detect multiple subjects in a frame, allow users to switch between them effortlessly, maintain tracking even when a subject leaves and re-enters the frame, predict motion patterns, ensuring smooth tracking even if someone moves erratically. For vloggers, content creators, and anyone who films dynamic footage, ActiveTrack 7.0 removes the hassle of constant refocusing, letting users concentrate on their storytelling. Meanwhile, key standout in the OM7P is a multifunctional module, which enables gesture-based controls that revolutionize solo filming. Whether you're filming yourself or capturing content on the go, these simple hand gestures allow for complete control without touching your phone or gimbal. You guys remember how well the hand gestures worked on the Spark, okay? Here's how it works. Raise your palm to start or stop tracking. Flash a V sign to take a photo to begin stop recording. Use a double L gesture with both hands to adjust framing. Wow, okay, interesting. Other essential tools the multifunctional module brings: integrated light control, microphone receiver, USB-C power delivery. That's one of the OM7 series is the most lightweight yet. More precisely, the OM7 weighs only 10 ounces, making it the lightest smartphone gimbal in its class. Both models fold down instantly for easy storage in a small bag or even a pocket. And the built-in tripod makes it easy to set up a stable shot anywhere. Osmo Mobile 7 starts at just $89, a full $70 cheaper than the Osmo Mobile 6 launch price of $159. Osmo Mobile 7P, which introduces a multifunctional module, is priced at $149, marginally higher than the OM6 current retail price of $139. The multifunctional module is also available as a separate add-on for Osmo Mobile 7 users, allowing them to upgrade later. All in all, affordable entry prices is the best time ever to invest in a DJI gimbal, okay? I want to share a little bit of my thoughts about DJI gimbals, okay? For me, when I think I bought the one, and I think I had the two, and my big thing with that, it was number one, you had to take the phone case off back then. There was no questions asked. Now I know now it does take some phone cases. That was a real hassle for me. And the other big hassle was you had to get it balanced right, and I could never get that balanced right for some reason or another. And then I realized too, and I know Ron talked about this a little bit last night, was just, what do you really use it for? Okay. Because, the shots that I want to get with something, I'm going to get with my drone. All right. Not, the shots of people walking, whatever kind of a thing. I'll use my selfie stick. I've used my selfie stick I've used the selfie stick that came with the Osmo Action 4 when I went to Hamvention last year up in Ohio, and that worked really well. I was very impressed. Of course, it has rock steady, so that really makes a big difference as well. A lot of smartphones don't have that feature. So, but all in all, I mean, if this is something that you're going to use and use a lot, oh, okay, that's a good thing, old part. Thank you for that. Having auto balance. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay. All in all, if this is something that you'll use, go for it. That's a fantastic price, great technology. That additional module gives you a lot of new features on it. Still a 300-gram weight limit, so you're having a fold. Yeah, Josh, I kind of thought so. Yeah, that's one thing for me. Well, I also have a S22 Ultra too, so I would probably use that one. That's what I basically use the S22 Ultra for. I use that for my videography needs for the channel. So that's what I would do in that instance as well. But thank you for that. Okay. So all in all, go for it. Enjoy it. Have a good time. I'm sure there's some good reviews out there. And I'm sure it works well. And if you're doing that it's real good for vlogging. Okay. If you're a vlogger, it's really good for that. If you want to use it for your channel, go for it. I mean, it's one of those kind of things. So yeah, I think it's good. Now, on the heels of this, okay, and we're gonna talk about this here is, DJI is they've been doing things rather. I don't want to use the word fast, but Okay, DJI announces roll with it product release for February 20th. All right. And they're talking about the RS4, DJI's mass marketed handheld gimbal, introducing a plug and play LiDAR focus tracker. While designed to be used with the gimbal, could be equipped onto any camera system here. And let's go ahead. There's a better article here on, let's see if I got see, that's the one thing I don't like about StreamYard. When I go and I switch tabs on the internet, I got to stop the screen and I got to go reshare. So that's, I've emailed them about that, but no. Okay. This article is pretty good. Okay. DJI RS4 Mini with the AI tracking module launches February 20th. What to expect here. And there's an actual picture of it right there. The teaser image shows the module's texture matte black surface, the integrated circular LED array, creating a bright green ring illumination here. This release would position the RS4 Mini as DJI's most advanced compact gimbal to date. The roll with a tagline, combined with a circular design element, latest and the leaked tracking module image, suggests DJI is focusing heavily on advanced motion tracking capabilities. This would directly challenge competitors like Zhiyun's Crane series, which has recently introduced similar tracking features. And I think Ron actually reviewed one of those as well. And there's a close-up of this here. The full specification features will be revealed February 20th announcement, but based on the teaser, leaked images, DJI seems poised to set a new standard in gimbal tracking technology. Okay, it's coming out. There he is. Hey, Ron, how are you, sir?
Hello, Bill. Doing good tonight. What did I review?
We just talked about the Osmo Mobile 7 and 7P, and now we're talking about the RS Mini 4.
Oh, the Mini 4. Yeah, I've reviewed the phone gimbals, but I've never reviewed one of the camera gimbals. I've always used Zhiyun or somebody else's camera gimbals.
Right. Yeah, and I was just gonna say that you've used those before. I remember you saying that. So
yeah, boy,
but yeah, it looks to be pretty.
I said, but they never tell you these things is when they're heavy to hold, the ones that holding the full size camera, they're not like using the phone gimbals.
Yeah. It's a lot different, and I think that's one thing that people don't realize how different they are between the two. And and the thing is this, okay? How often I haven't used, and I still have it. I have a Sony that I bought, I think back in 2009, 2010, which was state of the art back in the day. And right now people would laugh at it because it doesn't even, it's so far behind. It's not funny, but back in the day, it took great pictures. I mean, it was for its time, it did a great job. But how many of us realistically speaking use a real camera now? I mean, there's not a lot of us do anymore.
Right. Because, the portable cameras could take pictures, video, and do everything. I mean, if you're really into photography, you'll never get the same look from a phone or a handheld camera with a real camera. But you're right. It's not much reason to use a real camera as much as it was in 2009.
Yeah. So, and I think that's one thing people need to realize is, there is a difference between the two, and there obviously there's a market for it because, professional photographers, and I'll give you a great example. Our good friend, Original Dobo, he uses that all the time on his shoots for real estate, and he does a lot of interior shots and things like that. So
the real secret sauce with the real cameras is you can change the lenses, or like things like the phone, you're stuck with whatever lenses are, that the phone has or whatever. You don't have he may need a really wide angle to see like bathrooms and small rooms, laundry rooms, or whatever, where you may not get that with a normal lens.
Right. So, and there's obviously a market for it because DJI is tapping into it, and they're putting something with unique features out there, which I think is a good thing. I think it's good, and we'll kind of see how that pans out.
Now, and we expect that Thursday morning, right?
Right. That's on the 20th, which is Thursday morning. So
And do we know a price point on that yet, or
no, they haven't set a price point on that yet, and it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Because I don't think it's going to cost. I don't think it's going to be very expensive, but I don't
yeah,
know because
yeah, because
yeah,
unlike the drones, this DJI, that's a market where there's several other people make camera gimbals. They've been doing it longer than DJI, so it's not like a wide open space.
exactly, exactly. Now I found this article out here today. Baltimore man faces prison for flying drone over NFL stadium, and it was over the NFL wildcard game.
Was that the Steelers game, right?
The Rave. It was I'm trying to see which game it said. It was the wild card game against
I
the
was
Ravens.
watching that game, Bill. I
Yeah, I think it was.
People said, "Oh, they stopped the game for a drone."
Yeah, I remember. You're right. Okay. Despite these well-known rules, Suarez allegedly flew his DJI drone roughly 400 feet over the stadium while thousands of fans were watching the game. He even snapped 7 photos from above, an act that caught the attention of both NFL security and federal law enforcement. When questioned, Suarez claimed he had purchased the drone for recreation and work, but there was one big problem. The drone was unregistered. Suarez did not have a remote pilot certificate. He knowingly violated a TFR in place for the game. Because of these violations, Suarez has been slapped with serious federal charges, including operating an unrestricted drone and violating national defense airspace. If convicted, he could spend up to 3 years in federal prison. Government officials aren't playing around when it comes to drones in restricted airspace. Very serious about temporary flight restrictions. You'll be charged and held accountable for any incursion into restricted airspace, including around sports and entertainment venues such as the Super Bowl. Okay, and it gets into that here, and I think probably what's going to happen to him, I think he'll probably get a hefty fine and probably have to do some community service, but they want to send a clear message here too, Ron, about this, because this is something that you shouldn't be able to do.
On the kind of the mode of DJI getting rid of the geozones a while back, do you think we'll ever see a day where the drones will have like a built-in version of Air Aware or whatever, and they'll just know it's they'll just know there's a temporary flight restrictions and it won't take off? Now I could live with that, right? If my drone would not take off for the temporary flight restriction, I wouldn't complain about that one.
I agree with you 100%, Ron. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That would really make a lot of sense, because if you do something like that, then there's no issue. That won't happen. You won't
I forget the gentleman's name here, but yeah, the gentleman's name here, he wouldn't have any of his charges against him.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have been able to take off, and if he wouldn't have been able to take off, it would have been a moot point.
And the gentleman in California that crashed into the that Canadian plane that drops water, whatever you call that, he wouldn't be in trouble either, because again, his drone wouldn't have taken off during a temporary flight restriction.
Yeah, exactly. It would.
And for people who don't know, the temporary flight restriction is a whole different ballgame than restricted airspace. In restricted airspace, you can apply for lack approval, and in most cases, you'll get that approval if you approve far enough ahead of time, and you don't want to, say you want to stay under 200 feet or whatever the situation may be. But there's no approval in a temporary flight restriction bill.
Right. I mean, that happens. There's nothing you can do about it. TFR is a TFR. It's in place. It's a lock. You can't do it. And like you said, if they built that into the software for the drone, then there won't be an issue with that. And
that may be much more useful than the old geozoning.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic. That combined with LAANC approval, okay, it kind of makes it foolproof. It really does.
Yeah.
To do that, so
that would even be nice too. That inside the drone software, you could apply for the LANC approval right in the Fly app, Bill.
Yes, you could.
That would be really great.
You really could, and that would be fantastic.
I hope DJI is listening to this show. They could take some notes on our stuff, Bill.
Yeah, that would really make sense. Well, I'll just a quick sidebar here is, people have been saying, like in ham radio, have been telling the two major manufacturers, you need to build this kind of a radio. You need to build this kind of a radio. Okay. And the two major players out there, they're really going, they're like this. They're not listening. Okay. And this is one instance where DJI and whoever else is making drones needs to listen and to do something like that, because to do something like that, find instant favor with the government. I mean, what better way to, kind of, show favor with the government.
Yeah, giving an olive branch out there, or whatever, that we're trying to keep people safe. Yeah,
exactly. Now, I was kind of surprised. Well, I really wasn't surprised by it, but I was in a little bit of a way. Major Autel drone shutdown. Key models losing support. It includes the Evo 2 Pro V2, Evo 2 Dual 640T V2, Evo 2 RTK Series V2, Evo 2 Enterprise V2, Dragonfish Lite, and multiple ecosystem products like DJI Z2, DJI T3, and DJI T3H. Okay. Sales are already closed on the Evo 2 V2 series. Service ends October 31st, 2025. Wow, that's pretty quick here. Okay. Dragonfish Lite, DJI Z2, DJI T3, DJI T3H. Sales already ceased. Service ends December 20th, 2026. So that goes a while. You still have some time to use these drones and get them serviced. Bad news is once support ends, any issues or repairs will be completely on you. Have questions, reach out to Autel. And Autel's done this before too, Ron. This isn't the first time they've kind of left users in the lurch as far as that's
pulled the plug a little early, huh, Bill?
Yeah, that's a little early. I mean, like if you looked at it, I think DJI, it was years. I think they said like the Phantom 4 or something now is that their support's going to expire, I think this year or something, or it may have already. I'm not sure. But look how long that's been going. These haven't been out that long. Okay.
Especially some of these are enterprise drones. Typically, enterprise drones get longer support than consumer drones, right, Bill?
Yeah. And, to think too, a lot of these enterprise drones are being used by first responders, police, fire, EMS, and they're dependent on them. And they're going to leave them in a lurch here. Like, what do we do? Where do we go? Okay.
Especially fire departments that had to sell off all their DJI drones and replace them with Autels. Now they're left, what do you call, they're left in a lurch.
Yeah, that's really they're putting themselves in between a rock and a hard spot here, and it's really they have to make a decision. Do they go out? They might have to go out and buy another drone. I mean,
yeah.
Where do you find support for Autel? I mean, I know there's shops like DroneWorks and some other ones here that will work and service on them. But I mean, to find somebody that's reliable and that can do it. And the other thing too is this. Okay, you may find a good service center, but things like parts will run out. All right, and not only parts but batteries. And that can be a real problem and a real hassle when you get to that point.
Right.
So,
but I'm not an expert on the Autels, but I believe with that Autel Evo 2 Pro, I believe the 1, 2, and 3s all use the same battery. So the 3s still, the 3 is not discontinued. I think it's the same battery, so you may be able to avoid the battery issue with the Evo 2 Pro series.
That's true. And and I would say this, if you're an owner of one of these, if you're a Part 107 and an owner of one of these, you have options. And I think if you want to keep them, one of the things that I would do is I'd get out there and buy as many batteries as you can, because that's the one resource that, I mean, you can always buy aftermarket props and some other things. And you can, if you're crafty enough, you could probably use a 3D printer to help you out to get some parts. But batteries, that's one thing that you really have to get from the manufacturer. And if they're available, I would go out there and purchase them. That would just be me. If you're planning on keeping it, if you're planning on selling
I don't know of any third-party Autel batteries.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Okay. Yeah. Because all the time, you go out on Amazon, you find third-party DJI batteries all the time out there. But for Autel, I don't know.
And this is forcing, please fire the upgrade their Altels. Well, Altel got put on that same list DJI is, so they may not even be able to replace them with the newer models. They may not be able to get them shipped here.
Exactly. So you don't know. Again, Autel is maybe forcing, and maybe that's part of the reason Autel's making this move to begin with, is the timing of everything that's going on with the federal government and the ban and all that. They're just wanting to end it now, or end it a lot sooner than the actual expiration, if it actually happens. So stay tuned. We'll find out what's going on here. I don't know if you knew this, but I was actually this was very cool, and I came across this today when I was setting things up. The Osmo Action 5 has dropped to its lowest price ever out on Amazon. The Osmo Action 5 Pro Essential Combo is $339.
And don't be fooled by that. The Essential Combo is not the one with the extra batteries. The Essential Combo is the one battery.
Right. Yeah. The one with the Adventure Combo is the one with the extra batteries, and I think it's $459. But it also includes that that battery charging case.
Right.
Comes with it as well. That also comes with a selfie stick, and also comes with the extra batteries. So it's worth the extra $120. That's for sure. But it is out.
Yeah.
But it is out and available out on Amazon. I did see that today. So if that's something you're interested in, go for it. I finally sold my Action 4, so I'm going to be getting my Action 5 now when payday hits. But I was real pleased to be able to sell it. I had to go out to eBay. I had it listed on Marketplace for a while. I put it out on all my groups, but it finally sold on eBay, which it took its good old time. But I found something interesting. Okay?
Yeah, and I saw mine within just a couple of days. You just never know. Hey, Dr. B in the chats reminded you. He said the 6 will be here soon, according to the rumors.
More than likely, he's probably right. I don't doubt that. Listen to this, okay? I didn't realize I didn't do any activity on eBay last year, okay, in 2024. So I go out and I sell this year, all right? I get an email from eBay that my funds are on hold until the buyer receives the item, which it'll be on Friday. But I was like, and I called them. I'm like, what's going on here? I've been with eBay since 2007, and they said, well, I understand that, but even if you're a million dollar seller, if you take a year off, we need for you to reestablish yourself. And I mean, I'm like, reestablish myself? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So hopefully when the buyer's getting it on this Friday, they'll release the funds to me. But I just found that to be really odd.
Well, that's not that uncommon in practice. Facebook Marketplace, if you sell something, somebody buys it, and needs shipping, that money's not released to you until the package is, scanned at that person's house. And I think that's the same way that that other app where you sell stuff works. So that's not uncommon in today's world that you don't get the money released until the item is scanned in at the address it's going to.
Well, that's why I really prefer to sell it individually on my own. I mean, eBay takes a horrendous cut anymore.
Yeah.
Their cut is ridiculous.
I charge more money if I have to ship it or whatever, because then I have to also pay the the seller's fee and all that or whatever. So I charge less if somebody's picking it up locally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and what I do is what I've done before now, like when I sell it outside of eBay, I'll send them. PayPal has a way you can send them an invoice, which is fantastic. And it works really well. And the only thing I tell people, your address has to match, okay? You can't give me a different shipping address than what PayPal. I said I will only ship it to the address that's on PayPal, period. So, and that's always worked for me. So I've never had an issue with that before. So this was a real interesting article that I saw here out on Drone DJ today, and it was DJI drones with Para Zero safety tech cleared to fly in European cities. And it's real interesting here. DJI's Matrice 350, Mavic 3T, Mavic 3E have officially met CE Class C5 compliance under European Union Aviation Safety Agency EASA rules. The certification is a big deal for drone operators in Europe to simplify the often complicated process of getting approval to fly in urban environments, especially under the Special Operations Risk Assessment Framework. Okay, and it really is a big deal. The CEO of ParaZero calls the certification a major milestone, emphasizes how it opens up new opportunities for safe and compliant urban drone operations. Okay, ParaZero's safety air system works by detecting critical failures mid-flight. If something goes wrong, it deploys a parachute, bringing the drone safely to the ground, reducing the risk of damage or injury. Now, with this new compliance in place, ParaZero can help DJI drone operators in Europe navigate strict regulations while expanding their capabilities. That's fantastic news for our friends over in Europe, Ron. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. Do we have the same thing here? Can certain drones be flown over cities here if they have parachutes?
I believe so, and I think the thing with this is flying over events. I think that's a big thing, and flying over people. You could fly, you could fly over buildings and whatnot, and I don't think that applies. But I think when you're flying over crowds and when you're flying over a lot of people, I think that's where this applies. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today was, and thank you for pointing out that video, was the Potensic Atom 2. And I want to go ahead and share my screen right here. Now that video, it was Alien Drone, I think, was that, or
he did a review. He did a review. Now that little thing, that promo video, Drone Syndrome posted that promo, but Alien Drones did the full review of it.
Yeah, I saw the full review, and I really liked it. He did a really good review. And I noticed the same thing that you did, Ron, was when he was showing his B-roll, and I saw it was most evident. He was wearing like a red jacket. It was almost like a burnt orange.
Yeah.
But that's what the B-roll showed. But when you got it from the Atom 2, it showed it like it was almost bright red.
Right.
There was a real
typically some of these affordable budget drones, they do have oversaturation issues. The FEMI drones have had oversaturation issues or whatever. So this is uncommon, but something I see in a lot of Marcus's videos when he's reviewing second tier drones, his B-roll camera, whatever he may be using, looks much better than the camera drone. And that's the case here too. Alien Drones, whatever he was using for B-roll was a much better video than what the drone was recording.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, I was actually pretty impressed, though, with a lot of the features on it. I thought it did really well. I thought it did well tracking. The tracking tests that he did on his own individually, not when he was in the car, but on his own individually, I thought it did really well with that. Yeah. And the app looked like it was pretty user-friendly. I know he used a tablet with that, too.
But he always uses the tablet. Yeah.
And I saw his review about that tablet, which was really interesting, by the way. And he said that tablet comes loaded with the DJI Fly app on it, which was very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But all in all, not bad. I still want to see some more reviews on it, though. And he did say that the batteries are swappable from the first Atom to this one.
Yeah.
So that's a good point as well, too. But you think about the whole gist of this. Okay, 249 grams and under. He also did the RID test, which showed that works as well too, even though it's a 249 gram or less drone.
So that means you could use this professionally because it has remote ID. Yeah.
Exactly.
Without putting your own module on, of course.
Exactly. But my whole question is this, Ron. Okay. The appeal for these drones is the price point. All right. And for this kind of a price point, realize, what you're getting here. It's a nice controller. That antenna system looks good. He really didn't talk about testing the distance on it. And I know Marcus had mentioned in an email about, connection issues. And I think that's what he was referring to is, with range on these drones here. Whether that range would actually work here. But I think my point is this, you know, the Spectre Mini was $219. The Mini 4K is like what, 269 or
I
something
mean, of
like
course,
that.
yeah. I mean, the 290, you could quote. I think that the Mini 4K has been lower than that too. But the problem is we have to, the prices change constantly in those drones, so you're not
Exactly.
always going to get those low prices.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
But
your point being though, there's whatever the price may be, they're still significantly lower than this. And for my money, the video quality coming out of those drones is better than the video quality coming out of this one. And I'm judging that all in one video from Alien Drones. So I could take that back at any point when I see something different.
yeah, and I went out there, Quadcopter 101. He's doing a 2-part. He just did an unboxing. He hasn't flown it yet because apparently it's even colder where he's at. So
he's in Pennsylvania, so he's probably that's about the same weather I have.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to get out to fly that yet.
In fact, he's in Western PA, Bill, so you know what weather he's dealing with.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
I think he's north of Pittsburgh. He's west. He's not really west, but he's in Western PA. He's north of Pittsburgh, so
okay.
He is not any better roses up there right now.
Oh no, not in that area. I can tell you that right now. Having lived there most of my life. Yeah, exactly. That's not going to be a nice area to fly in. But all in all, I mean, I'm going to kind of keep my eye on this. I think it's a possible option for people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll see.
I mean,
I don't know.
The advantage it has over the DJI and the Spectre, of course, it has an AI track.
Yes, that AI track I think it did an exceptional job with that tracking, and it was easy to use. If you watched how he did it, there wasn't really, it was more on the screen than having to press a button, and getting the subject focused, and it seemed rather intuitive. It really didn't seem like having to go deep in a menu to be able to do that tracking, Ron.
And it also has the AI night shot mode too.
The night shot mode, and I was impressed with the night video from that. I think it did a great job with that, and that's impressive.
Another feature you won't find in the Spectre or the Mini 4K. So this has Richard pointing out in the chat. It definitely has some features that the drones we mentioned do not have. The 32-minute flight time, that's about the same as the Spectre or the Mini 4K, right, Bill? Yeah.
Oh, there you are, Josh. 8 degrees in West Virginia.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
Oh my.
So you know why Quadcopter 101 is not flying it this week?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Josh, at this point, according to what Alien Drone says, the waypoint feature is not there yet on this drone. They said it's coming, but I mean, I don't believe a drone maker saying a feature's coming until it's here, Bill, especially from a second-tier drone maker.
Exactly. And I'm going to kind of agree with him. I think if you fly a lot of these kind of drones, and let me call them the mini type of drones that don't have the controller with a built-in screen like we're used to, a tablet is probably a great option for you on this, and to set it up, what I would call set it up semi-permanently or permanently on there, so it's ready to go. So you don't have to go through each and every time and set it up and make sure the software is working and all that. I think that would probably really help your flight experience with drones like this.
Yeah. I mean, the only disadvantage of that is unless you had to sell your tablet, you don't get the maybe the accurate maps and whatever as you would using a phone on cellular. So
that's true. That's exactly true.
There's cons and everything. And you know what, Bill? Years ago, I used to use a tablet, but today's phones, like the current iPhone, I think has 200 nits or whatever. I mean, not 2,000, not consistent, but still, it's over 1,000 nits all the time. So the phone screens have improved greatly from 5 years ago or better, when tablets were a big thing. Like I can see real good on my current iPhone now.
Yeah. And I was going to say the same thing, especially because when I fly with a phone, I use my S22 Ultra, and it's like that too. Really, it's pretty bright. So I'm not really needing that though. And what's interesting though was he mentioned, well, I looked on his video and I checked that price on that tablet. It's $499. So I mean,
Yeah. So that's like you get a $400 tablet to put on a $300 drone. That kind of like a little bit of a head scratcher, right?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, put it this way, Bill. If this drone is going to appeal to budget buyers, right? Okay, if you're a budget drone buyer, you're not looking to put a $400 and some tablet on a budget drone. So most people buy this thing are going to be flying with their phones.
Yes, it's exactly. That's a great point. He does it. He uses his tablet because he does that. I mean, he reviews these drones, the Fimi Minis, the Potenzic Atoms, that kind of thing. He does that a lot. So it's really up his alley. And I did see, and I think I think he may have even mentioned it or I may have come across it in a comment, and what I think maybe it was on a comment on there that the Fimi controller with the built-in screen that may start working with the Mini 3.
Yeah, Grill Man said that. Yeah.
Grill Man said that. Yeah. So that's exactly where I saw that.
As far as I know, Fimi doesn't have a control with the built-in screen, but but again, I think this is meant for more of a budget-conscious buyer that's not buying tablets or expensive controllers with built-in screens. This is somebody who this is a kid. Now they may outgrow this drone eventually and move up to something like what we're talking about, but again, this is think of who this is aimed at here. And I believe, Bill, that you can get a 3 battery combo with some kind of battery charger for around $450.
$450.
Roughly $450. And the good thing is, Bill, unlike our recent DJI drones, this thing's available to ship. Like it says Friday now, but earlier today I could have got it on Thursday. So it's nice to see that somehow Potenzic has avoided the whole Chinese drone embargo.
Yeah, and my other thing is this, and I don't know if you found out anything more about it, but he talked about Potenzic Care. Like they have it's like their Care Refresh kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He touched on it, but he didn't really get into it. So
we'll see how it turns out. Remember years ago, Hubsan had a Hubsan Care, and we never heard much about it after that big announcement.
Yeah, and there was dead silence after that. But here, this is a little different. So I think this is something to keep your eye on. So stay tuned.
I definitely like a product that's sold on Amazon. So people in the U.S. here that we can order this knowing that we get it and it doesn't work, we can send it right back rather than shady companies like Banggood or whatever. Those companies like that where if it doesn't work, good luck. They don't even offer to take it back.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not stuck with it. So, that's one of the things I said, if I was ever going to get a Fimi again, I was going to do through Amazon. That way, if it was a dud, I could just send it back. I wouldn't have any problems,
Yeah. I mean, because the funny thing is, even though Fimi's had the turtles having problems, if you actually get one that works right out of the box, it usually stays working right. You almost know from almost the first couple flights whether the thing's any good or not. And if it's good, usually it's good. It's good as long as you're flying the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you don't crash it, it probably stays good until you don't want to fly it anymore.
Exactly. So so stay tuned on that. We'll be revisiting that and watching some other highlight videos, and who knows, one may be popping up on my doorstep. I don't know.
There you go. It could be there in 2 days, Bill.
Yeah, it could be there in 2 days, and pull the trigger, and we'll see. I would,
you get it eventually. I'd love to see you do a side-by-side test with that Spectre Mini.
Yes, I think that would, and I'm real tempted here come payday. I think I might pull the trigger.
Josh makes a good point here in Alien Drones' video. He pointed out that the GPS was locked in when it was hovering. It wasn't doing a Hubsan drop or wandering around like
that toilet bowl
wanders around.
Yep.
It just stayed locked right in there, or whatever. And even when Alien Drones says when he's flying it, the controls even felt good. He said it didn't feel twitch like some of these other drones. Like it was very controllable. Smooth control. He didn't say like DJI, but I'll say more DJI than kind of lose some of those things where they just don't have good steering or good control.
Exactly. We're going to cover some of these rumors that came up for the DJI Mini 5 Pro. Now, DJ put an article out there, and I thought this was the better of the two articles, and I kind of wanted to cover this here to go over things because I know a lot of people have talked about it, and the leak comes courtesy of drones 19170668. Okay, and let's see if this actually works, and it does here. Okay, and it comes up. All right, now you can see right here, and I'll see if that'll come up. Okay,
Yeah.
It's so obvious when you look at that right there that that's been photoshopped or edited or something or other. It's not funny. It's just it's not funny here.
Jasper Ellen's I think Hey Kessler posted an article first, and Jasper called him out and said that's a Photoshop fake.
Yeah, and and that happened right away. The reason I say this is sketchy leak is that some parts of the photos don't seem to look original. For example, the 5 looks darker and has a unique outer glow. And this could just be marketing graphics to make the 5 pop more, but it's also larger and darker on the drone. However, critiquing leaked images is never a foolproof matter of judging authenticity. Every image that is leaked from DJI usually is low quality and has something that looks off. What gives this leak boost in authenticity is a match with an earlier leak by Acetalab, the mention of LiDAR sensors. So far, we've only seen leaked images of the front of the Mini 5 Pro, which show the LiDAR sensor facing forward, but there could be some on the back. This will improve obstacle avoidance even more with the limited sensors it already has. The Mini 3 Pro is notorious for poor obstacle avoidance performance. It was there, and it would be fine if something was directly in front of you or behind you, but mostly blind to anything beside it. The Mini 4 Pro improved this with a larger and wider optical sensors. The addition of LiDAR in the Mini 5 Pro will take this a step further here. Now, I talked about 15-minute battery life. The expected increase will begin battery performance. Since the redesign and introduction of the Plus batteries of the Mini 3 Pro, Mini Series has been a leader in flight time. Mini 4 Pro advertises a 45-minute flight time with its Intelligent Flight Battery Plus. The drone's leak shares the possibility of breaking the 50-minute mark right there. This will likely be with a Plus battery, which also pushes the drone rate past 249 grams. Okay, without the Plus battery, the Mini 4 Pro gets 35 minutes of flight time. 1-inch camera sensor. The Air 2S was widely loved and still loved for its unique 1-inch camera sensor. Due to multiple reasons, the Air 2S took some of the best photos the drone industry saw from a consumer product, and I bet it can still fight toe-to-toe against the Mavic 3's Micro Four Thirds camera. That's why I'm excited for the possibility of a 1-inch camera returning in the DJI drone lineup with the Mini 5 Pro. Although it does seem a little far-fetched, they could fit one in such a small payload. DJI is good at what they do here. It's important to note that a 1-inch sensor is not actually 1 inch in size. Here's a better article that explains why it's called that. However, they're much larger than what DJI actually currently puts the Air 3S and the zoom lenses of the Mavic 3 Pro. I also wouldn't be shocked to see many of these features come in hopefully soon to be released Mavic 4 Pro and then eventually to the Air 4. As nowadays, they all seem to borrow a few pieces of tech from each other during the release, and especially cameras. Will the Mini 5 Pro come out this year? Likely. The Mini 4 Pro is released at the end of 2023. So we're over a year on that drone's architecture. DJI usually releases its drone between early spring and late fall. With the Mavic 4 Pro slated to be released in the spring, that would leave summer to fall release for the Mini 5 Pro. My bet would be closer to summer. Okay. What are your thoughts on all this, Ron?
Well, Bill, pre-order that Mini 5 for me with the 1-inch sensor, the LiDAR, and the 50-minute flight time. I'm sold.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll fly. I mean, I think it'll literally fly off the shelves and fly out of Shenzhen. I mean, they will pop orders like for this drone like you haven't seen. If all those features come on it, I'm sold right away. Here's my money. Okay.
Of course, that may hurt the sales of some of their other drones.
True. I mean,
but Bill, what would they have to charge or something like this though?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Ron. I think if you were to get the Pro Series batteries that would have the 50+ minute of flight time with it and the Fly More combo and everything, you're probably going to push over $1,000, probably $1,100, I would think, especially if you have the controller with a built-in screen, easily. easily.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. If you get yourself, well, at that point you're getting the full banana, right? You're getting the good controller, the 3 battery combo, whatever. Now you're pushing yourself up what near 1,500, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I could see something like if you were just to get, say, the drone itself, maybe like 750, 799
With
with
the
a battery.
RCN2 controller and the normal battery, yeah.
Right, with the RC-N2 controller, exactly. Okay, so I could see that happening.
Well,
But you
that
brought
may
up
not be a bad option because, well, I don't know how much battery time. I don't know how much battery there'll be in the regular battery. Probably like what 32 or something. Yeah.
yeah,
Different.
and I think you brought up a good point though. Is the timing of this release is going to be really important for DJI, because I think come this spring, the Mavic 4 Pro, we all know that that's going to hit sooner rather than later here, and I think you'll probably see a midsummer release on something like this. There's talk about the Mavic 4 Pro next month in March, so I would say maybe a June, July kind of time frame for a Mini 5 Pro. And like the article pointed out, it's been pretty long in the tooth for the Mavic, for the Mini 4 Pro. I mean, it's been out well over a year now. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's
I mean, like Jasper a couple, month or two ago was predicting more of a late summer, early fall release for the Mini 5 Pro.
he's probably right. I mean, I'm combining what he says with the article on everything there. June, July, August, kind of a time frame is probably
Well, I
realistic.
like your time frame better. Get these things out. Don't let them come out when summer is almost over and the good weather's ending. Get them out. Get them out when the good weather's just starting.
And I think DJI has gotten better at that, Ron. I think they've kind of learned their lesson on when, especially based on the market that they sell a lot of these drones in. I know we're not the number one, but we're not far behind being a number one market for them. I would think that they would kind of gear it, and especially too, you look at other countries, like over in the European Union, of the UK, Germany, France, that whole area over there. They have winter too, and they have summer. And
Yeah. Well, even Shenzhen, China, they're not tropical. They probably have kind of the same weather we do in the Northeast. So, even the highly populated places in China have winter.
exactly. And I think they probably are starting to learn, combining, when they want to release these things based on a number of factors, but also including the time of the year, the seasons, and when you're available to go out and fly these drones. I mean, it makes a big difference for people to be able to get out there and enjoy these. And, this is one right here, Ron. I don't even have to hesitate. Okay. My credit card is already out. All right.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. If it has that feature set on there, the LiDAR, the batteries, the camera like that, here,
I
take it.
mean, it makes it worse. So you don't need any other drones but the Mini with all these features.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically replace a Mavic 3 Pro with this. You could almost replace an Air 3S with something like this, with that kind of camera and those features on it, and having the LiDAR on there. I mean, what?
And that long
Yeah.
battery flight time or whatever. And of course, the Mini 5 Pro has almost all the features of we'll say the Air 3 and the Air 3S as far as software features. So I mean, the only downside would be if you lived in a real windy environment, the 5 Pro wouldn't hold as well in the air as the Air series or the Mavic series.
True. And if you wanted to fly at, say, this time of year, especially like where you live,
Yeah.
it's not going to be real conducive to that.
Right.
You're going to need to have a less windy environment. I mean, it can handle wind pretty well. I think, for example, it would handle wind better than a Mini 4K or a Spectrum Mini could. Okay. Because their airframe's a lot lighter. Their motor's a lot less powerful.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, the Mini 4 Pro is the best Mini ever in the wind, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I could vouch for that as well.
Hey, did you see Josh's comment about 4 comments back? He said if the Mini had 2 cameras, he'd be sold. I mean, Bill, I think we're stretching it for the 1 in sensor. Is there any way they can put a dual camera system on the Mini and keep it under 250 grams?
See that I think they can do it, but I think keeping it under 250. I think that's the problem.
What do you think is going to be way more, a 1-inch sensor or a dual camera setup? Which one's going to be heavier?
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
thinking the dual camera is going to be.
I think the
heavier
dual
than
camera.
1
Yeah, I
inch.
think that's gonna add more weight because physically you have to have a bigger a bigger case for the gimbal and everything. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and that's gonna add to the weight,
You
and
won't
that's
want
gonna
that thing being kind of front end heavy with that big old gimbal hanging off of with 2 cameras, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, I'm with Josh. If they could do it, I'd love it. But um, what would you rather have, Bill? A 2 camera setup, and neither one of them is 1 inch, or a 1 camera with a 1 inch?
Mm, I'm thinking the dual. I don't know about
Okay.
you because I know with like the Mavic 3 Pro and with the Air 3S, having that other camera that's just
Yeah.
golden for me. I mean, and being able to switch on that on the fly. I mean, that's just I can't think of something better for me personally. If I'd see that on there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the money and get cash out and hand it over to you.
They should make both of them, and then make you choose which one you want.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a wonderful problem to have?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be an absolutely wonderful problem to have. But, it's going to be coming. It's going to be coming because it's one of these drones that has sold consistently well for DJI. And you mentioned the word mini, it's boom. Well, of all my groups that I've started on DJI drones, by far and away, my mini group it's exploded. I have like
Yeah.
30, almost 40,000 people on it because everybody, it's a drone, it's affordable. It's easy to fly. It's easy to take with you. It checks off a lot of the boxes, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, on all those things you said are all good, except the real low price is the main reason the minis are the most popular. And they did this to the Mini 5 Pro, put a 1-inch sensor, dual camera, and they moved it up in price equivalent to the Air series. It wouldn't be as popular.
Yeah, right, right.
I mean, if they did all that, they should just make an SE version with a lesser camera and make it affordable.
That's true. They could do something like that
Yeah,
with this,
yeah.
and that would make a lot of sense. And I would really like for them to be able to see something like offer maybe a drone only option, not even with a controller. And
Mhm.
that way, if you have that controller already, you don't have to go out there and do that to, kind of mix and match kind of a thing.
Of course, by the time this thing would come out in the late summer, fall, they'd probably have OcuSync 5, so you'd need to get a new controller anyways.
You're probably right, Ron. You are probably right with that. So, we touched on it too when we talked about the Mavic 4 Pro is that controller, the RC Pro 2 is probably going to come out when the Mavic 4 Pro comes out, which
Right.
means it's probably going to have OcuSync 5.
Well,
So,
remember the Mavics, they usually had that. Remember, like the last time they come out with this plus, like the Mavic 3 had OcuSync 3 Plus. So you may see a 4 Plus on the Mavic 4 Pro.
that's true. That could be true. So that might, yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right with that. I think it's kind of like an in between kind of a thing. But I think what a lot of people will be ticked off about, Ron, if they do something like that, is they'll want an RC Pro 2 to work with, to be backwards compatible, and it's not. It's going to be a forwards compatible kind of a thing because of the OcuSync. Okay.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. On day one, that Pro controller is only going to work with one drone, the Mavic 4.
Yeah, so that's where we're at.
And then
Any
you'll have to
other,
wait. You'll have to wait for the Mini 5 or the Air 4 or whatever to get that compatibility. Oh, Fart's going to get the Mavic 4. He's got the dough.
yep. I hear you, old fart. I'm with you on
Yeah.
that one.
I hope you got the extra dough for the tariffs and all that, right, Bill?
Yeah, who knows? Who
No,
knows
but I'm just joking because DJI so far, DJI hasn't raised those tariffs. And when did Trump say that the China tariffs are going to go into effect? He said something just this weekend, right? He gave a date.
Yeah, he did, but I think I think he rescinded that because I think there's some kind of an agreement that he's trying to get China and Russia to sign about some nuclear disarmament.
Oh,
And they're kind of talking about that. So gonna waive a lot of this tariff talk, which I think was pretty interesting. I did see something about that. So who knows?
Bill, I can predict, Bill, these tariffs will go in effect the day before the Mavic 4 comes out.
Oh, you know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Have an extra $150 handy or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So any other thoughts here, Ron, before we wrap things up?
No, it's been a good day. We got the new Osmo 7, the 7 Pro, and you talked about before I got on here, like, you know, they have a 7, which a basic one, which is real low price, like what, $79, $80. And the Pro's like the same price as the OM6 was when it first came out. So it looks like if you get the regular 7, it's probably no better than having the 6 now. But, you know, so the Pro be one to get, and the Pro is still about $20 cheaper than Insta360's phone gimbal they just released last month. So I'll be looking forward to seeing somebody do side-side comparisons. I have the OM6. I'm not really looking to upgrade now, but I'll think about it down the road. And the Atom, I mean, I really, I don't, I'm going to buy anything this time of year because it's too windy. The weather's not good to fly anyways. Maybe I'll think about it at some point in the spring, if it keeps getting, if the reviews stay good on it. So
yeah. I want to see Quadcopter 101's video on it, and I know Alien Drones is going to do some more. He said he's going to do a lot more videos on it too. I want to take a look at some more videos on it, but I'm really intrigued with that AI tracking and the AI night tracking on that. I was impressed with how well that worked. Yeah. So, we're going to kind of keep an eye on that. I think for me, that's one of the things.
Yeah, I think that, most of these new camera, new drone, the thing that you have to get right is, you have to have good low light now. You can't release anything that doesn't do good low light anymore, right? Because that's the first thing people complain about. But the second thing is they complain about no 60 frames per second. So if I watched Alien Drones videos correctly, it had 4K 30. You had to go all the way down to 1080p to get to 60 frames. So they kind of dropped the ball in the 60 frames thing. I know the Spectre and the Mini 4K do not have 60 either in 4K, but they're already a year old or whatever.
Right.
That could hurt them a little bit that they don't opt. Today, even on a budget drone, you better offer 60K in your top resolution, or else you're going to get the 60 frame per second army after you. And that army is almost as big as the low light army that comes in. And that's the first thing they talk about on a new product, whether it's a drone, whether it's an action camera, pocket camera, doesn't matter. Those two armies, if you don't take care of those, they're going to bombard you with their comments.
Well, you look at, and I'll go by, you just did a video on the Air 3S 4K 60. I just did one as well too. And you watch that video and, you set your settings, and, I know a lot of people watch them on their phones, but I know if you watch it on your laptop and you can set it to 4K, do it. And you go out there and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that detail on there. Like I said that when I was watching yours as well too. I'm like, the detail on there, it just snaps.
That video you sent me was just amazing. I mean, just the quality. Forget the stutter, which I didn't see stutter, but just the detail, the quality, the colors, everything was just jumped off the screen at me.
Yeah, it was phenomenal when I saw that on yours. It really was. It was, and then with mine, I was just so impressed with that. And I wanted to be careful, and I did send, just to let everybody know, I sent a test video to Ron, to Marcus, and also to Richard as well too. Just because I know they've looked at it well, and they all agreed with me. I'm like, I was waiting for them to say it popped, and they all three of them did. So
and I think Marcus and I both watched it on bigger screens. Like I watched on my 27-inch 5K IMAX, so I made sure I was on a screen that I could have saw an issue with.
Yeah, I had it on my monitors are like 27 inches too, 4K. Yeah. And it's like, muy bueno. Well, next week at this time, you're going to be on your way to Florida.
Yeah, I won't be on the show next week because, again, I go into Auto Train Wednesday, but Tuesday night I'll be in a hotel near the Auto Train in Virginia, below DC, and I don't want to rely on hotel Wi. I don't know where I'll be.
Oh, the hotel Wi-Fi,
whatever hotel Wi-Fi. Again, I don't even know. I may be eating dinner, on a travel day. That's never where they're going to be at a time. So I'll see you in about 2 weeks when I'm in sunny Jupiter, Florida.
All right, that's going to be you and Susan are going to enjoy. The weather's been like 70s, low to mid 70s, just low humidity. It's just the perfect time of year in Florida. It's just
and the weather hasn't been good here for a long time. So I mean, winter ends for me next Wednesday when I get in the auto train, because by the time I get back here after the meetup in April, winter will be gone.
Will be gone. Yeah, that's a great. That's you and Susan did it. The timing was perfect for this. Just absolutely perfect for that. Well, you know, I have an auto train story. My mom had to have like some emergency medical procedure done. She was fine, but the doctor said we had to do something like right away. But we were all set to go down auto train down to Disney, and we had to cancel it at the last minute. I was so bummed because I didn't get down to Disney until I was an adult. And it was before my youngest son was born, who's now 38. Okay. Yeah, it was before I'm sorry. He's 33. It was before he was born. So that was the first time I was at Disney was about 33 years ago. So I didn't get a chance to do the auto train, but everybody said the auto train's fantastic.
Well, we watched a lot of videos on it. Well, I'll let you know if it's good or bad in 2 weeks.
Well, you know, one of the things that frustrated me. Now we took a train. Okay, my train story is this: my mom was when we moved her down to Florida. Valerie said because of her balance issues, we said we're going to take the train down. I go, oh, okay. She rode on the train a lot during the 40s and 50s. So she was a trooper, Ron. She loved it. Okay. Now the trip from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, it was scenic, beautiful during the day. You couldn't ask for better. All right.
Yeah.
Now we get into the train station in Philadelphia. Okay. Now I'm going to say this. All right. That train station looked like it did in World War II. Okay. It hadn't been updated there. And
you were probably in 30th Street Station.
Yep. And then we got onto our train to go down to Florida, and it was just, it was a culture shock because the compartment that you were in had 3 people. The bathroom was an all-in-one with a shower. I didn't realize that till we got in there. And then the bunk bed that I was going to sleep in had this netting, so in case the train came to a sudden stop, you didn't fall out of bed.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah, and there was almost no air conditioning in there. It was horrible. So you know what Valerie and I did?
What year was it?
Trying to remember. It was like May, June.
Okay.
When we did that, so the weather was kind of on the cooperative side. It wasn't too.
Because we're worried about being too cold. We're worried about being too cold in the winter. Of course, by sometime in the middle of the night, we'll be in South Carolina because it stops in South Carolina just to change crews. So by then, it shouldn't be cold outside anymore.
Oh yeah, you should be fine with that. But it was just like it was an out of body experience. What we ended up doing was across the hall they had like all these empty berths, but it was just these ones that had these 4 seats in there, and you would fold them down and they would turn into beds. But yeah. Valerie and I just went across there. We both all we had to do was flip up, and it was like a big recliner chair. That's where we both slept. With my mom across the hall. She slept like a champ, Ron.
Wow,
it was like good. No problem. Okay. None whatsoever.
We didn't get a sleeper car either. We're just going to you did just get whatever sleep we can in the lounge seats back.
Yeah, and that's the way to go. That's the absolute perfect way to go. And the ventilation was better in there anyway, too.
I mean, I fall asleep right in the car when we're going down when I'm the passenger. So if I could do it in the passenger seat of the car, I could do it in a train.
Oh yeah, you won't have any problem falling. I mean, I didn't have any problem falling asleep with that too, especially the rhythm when it's hitting chunk, 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 chunk. It was a constant rhythm. It's kind of like white noise. It really, really helped. But okay. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks, guys. As always, it's a great day to fly. And make sure you tune in next week because we have 2 very special people coming in next week, Johnny Drone Flyer and Captain Ray.
Oh, wow.
You guys are going to be in for a treat next week. See you guys. Take care.